Alright, so if you read the title of this video, you're probably like, Austin, you're a scumbag, dude. You robbed someone's house? Are you serious? Well, kinda. I'm gonna talk about it. So today's story time all takes place when I was 16 years old. Yeah, so quite a while ago. When I was 16 years old, I really didn't have much going on in my life besides doing YouTube, playing some video games, and hanging out with my friends. Which, now that I think about it, my life really isn't too different from when I was 16 years old to now. Except when I was 16, I was living with my parents, right? Now, my mom worked a pretty long job. She would go to work at like 6 in the morning and get home at like 9 at night. So she would literally be gone all day. So I pretty much had the house to myself almost every day. I did have brothers that I lived with, but they also worked normal jobs and were also hanging out with friends a lot. So most days after school, I would come home at 16 years old and just have the whole house to myself. So today's story time all starts off as a normal day in 16-year-old Luna's life. I woke up, it was a Friday, I was really excited because, it was the weekend finally. So I get up out of bed, I shower, I get ready for school, and then after I'm all cleaned up, I go into the kitchen and I start snacking on a granola bar in the kitchen, just waiting for the bus to come. And my mom walks out into the kitchen and she's getting ready for work. And she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "Nothing, just getting ready for school." She's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Did you see the calendar today?" Now, my mom used to keep this calendar like on the fridge right up front for everyone in the kitchen to see, and it would kind of like tell everyone what they had to do that day. So like I'd look at it every morning and see if I had like appointments or something, or like something to do that day, like chores. And I look at the calendar and it says day off school. And I look at my mom and I'm like, "Wait, is that true? Do I have the day off today?" She's like, "Yeah, it's a teacher meeting day." I was like, "Holy shit." And she's like, "Don't swear." I was like, my bad. But I was just so excited, dude, because I had the whole day off now, and I was already awake and ready for the day, and my mom was about to go to work, and it's the weekend. Like, all in all, I was feeling good. I'm sure you all know the feeling of, like, when you get a snow day, or, like, when you have a day off of something and you didn't think you did. It's just the best, especially paired with the weekend and all this other shit that was happening. I was just happy, right? So my mom's like, "Yeah, you have off school. Anyway, I gotta go. Be good today. If you're gonna hang out with your friends or something, just let me know where you're going. Send me a text." I was like, "Okay, sounds good." So my mom heads out, and at this point, I pretty much have the house to myself. My one brother was home, but he was asleep, and he was going to work at like 9 a.m., so all day I pretty much had the whole day to do whatever I wanted. So immediately I start texting friends of mine, right? I'm like, "Yo, what's up? Want to hang out today? No one's hitting me back because it's like 6 in the morning, almost 7, and no one's awake yet because they all knew that they had the day off and were going to sleep in. So I end up going downstairs and just playing some Xbox for a couple hours to kill some time. And at like 9 or 10 a.m., my friend hits me up. And this friend of mine, let's just call him Zach. Zach was somebody I never really hung out with outside of school. He was mainly just like an in-school friend. But because it was the day off and I had nothing to do, I was just texting everybody, right? I was hitting everyone up, seeing what everyone was doing. And yeah, Zach hit me back first. And he's like, "What's up, man? I just woke up." I was like, "Yo, you want to hang out today?" He's like, "Bet, when?" I was like, "I don't know, an hour or two?" He's like, "Yeah, I gotta ride my bike though. I don't have a ride." I was like, "Shit, okay. Want me to meet you halfway?" He's like, "Yeah, for sure." So yeah, fast forward an hour, I jumped on my bike and Zach jumped on his, and we met halfway at a little convenience store right up the road. So yeah, I meet him at the store, and it was my first time hanging out with him outside of school, and that was the first thing I said. I was like, "Yo, what's up, man? Like, I literally never see you outside of school." He's like, "Yeah, man, it's good to finally hang out." I was like, "For sure." And he's like, "Oh shit, man, that bike you got is crazy." Now, when I was 16, I didn't have a car yet or my license. So, I was riding around on a BMX bike or a skateboard. Those were my two vehicles of choice. And yeah, on this day, I met Zach on my BMX bike. And it was this really cool one I got for Christmas the year before. Pretty nice BMX bike. And he pointed that out. And I was like, "Yo, man, thank you." I was like, "Yours is dope too." He's like, "Nah, man, mine's a piece of shit. I need something like yours." So anyway, fast forward a couple hours, me and Zach hang out at my house. We rode back to my place. We ended up hanging out pretty much the whole day, probably till about 7 at night. And at like 7:30, Zach's like, "Shit, man, I gotta go." I was like, "Bet, man, thanks for coming." He's like, "Yeah, no problem." I was like, "Do you need a ride or something? Like, if you need a ride, I could probably ask my mom to take you home when she gets back." He's like, "Nah, man, I got my brother coming to pick me up right now." I was like, "Sweet, sounds good." So like 10 minutes later, he told me his brother was in the driveway and then he had to go. I was like, "All right, man, good seeing you." I slapped him up, said goodbye, and he left. Now, the whole rest of that night was pretty normal, right? Nothing out of the ordinary. Didn't think much of it. Thought it was just a good day, right? Well, the next morning rolls around, and this is really where the story starts getting good, right? I wake up, and I really want some food, right? I'm hungry, and I'm not craving like house food. I want some fast food. I want some shit that's not good for you, that shit that 16-year-olds crave. So I got up, and I'm like, "You know what? I'm going to ride my bike to Burger King." So I go out in the garage and I go to grab my bike and it's just not there. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I go out in the shed in the backyard. It's not in the shed either. So immediately I run back inside and I wake up my mom and I was like, Mom. She's like, what? I was like, where's my bike? She's like, I don't know. Where'd you last have it? Probably in the garage. I was like, it's not in there. She's like, okay, did you check the shed in the backyard? I was like, yeah, I already did. She goes, okay, what about the side of the house? I was like, yeah, it's nowhere. She's like, well, it can't be nowhere. Go look harder. So I go back outside, I look around, it's not there. Now at this point, I kind of knew what happened, but I didn't want to say it out loud because my mom would fucking kill me. I left my garage door open most of the day and night that I was hanging out with Zach, and I think someone stole my bike, right? So I'm freaking out. And I walk back in the house, and my mom's like, did you find your bike? I was like, yeah, I found it. She goes, oh, where was it? I was like, it was just deep in the garage. I didn't see it. She's like, oh, okay, good. Glad you found it. I was like, thank you. Now inside, I'm freaking out because my bike's really nice. My mom bought it for me for Christmas. She spent a good amount of money on it. I didn't want it to get stolen. That sucks. And I just feel like a fucking idiot because I left my garage door up the whole day and most of the night. And yeah, now it's gone, right? So I'm sad. I go lay down in bed. I'm just like getting on my phone, scrolling through social media, just upset. And I open up Facebook, right? And I'm scrolling through Facebook, seeing what people that I'm friends with are doing. And I come across a post from my friend Zach. And I shit you not, the post says, selling brand new BMX bike, $200, hit my line. Now, when I first saw this, I think, okay, he's probably selling his bike, right? And then I look in the replies, and our other friend, Christian, responds and says, can I see some photos? And then Zach responds with a photo of this bike. And you want to guess whose fucking bike it is? Because it's not Zach's. Yeah, dude, he stole my fucking bike. Now, I am fucking furious at this point, because a friend of mine, someone that I hung out with all day the day before and had a great time with, was just using me to steal my shit. So I'm pissed, right? And I respond to his post and I was like, yo, that bike you're selling looks really familiar. Can I have it back? And he immediately blocks me on Facebook. Just like a minute later, post disappears, profile disappears, gone. And I'm mad. I'm like, all right, what do I do? I can't tell my mom because she'll fucking kill me, even though I probably should have just told her. She definitely would not have killed me. She probably just would have been angry and then like gotten over it in a minute and just tried to get my bike back for me. But me being a 16-year-old just dumbass kid, I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking steal it back. So if I was going to steal my bike back, I couldn't do it alone, right? So I run upstairs and knock on the door of somebody I know would help me with something like this. My older brother. So I go up there, I knock on his door. My brother answers. He's like, what's up, man? I was like, listen, I need your help. He's like, with what? I was like, can I talk to you inside for a sec? He's like, sure. So he lets me in his room. He shuts the door. I was like, listen, my bike got stolen. That Zach kid that was over here yesterday, he stole my bike. I think his older brother helped him. Now I need your help. He's like, all right, slow down. Step by step, walk me through what happened. I was like, okay, listen, I had Zach come over, and when he left and his brother came and picked him up, the next morning my bike was gone. So I think him and his brother stole my bike and put it in the car and left. And my brother's like, okay, so what do you need my help for? I was like, I want to steal it back. Can you help me do that? He's like, you want me to help you steal your bike back from your friend and his brother? I was like, yes. He's like, dude, if we get caught and like the police show up and your friend tries to say that it's his bike and that we're stealing it, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. You know that, right? I was like, yeah, that's why we don't get caught. He's like, all right, man, let's do it. So we leave, we get in my brother's car, and we start going towards Zach's house. Now, I didn't know Zach's exact address, but I knew where he lived because he told me one time in school that he lived right across the street from this pizza place that everyone used to go to at school. So I knew that if I just went to this pizza place and looked directly across the street, it was Zach's house there. So we get to the pizza place, we pull in the parking lot, I look across the street, and Zach's house is there. And I know it's Zach's because I could see his bike on the front porch. Not my bike, I see Zach's bike on the front porch. He had my bike inside or something because he knew that my shit was cooler than his. That's probably not the reason, but he probably knew I was looking for it, so maybe that's why he had it inside. So I tiptoe over across the street with my brother to Zach's house, and we're like walking around real quietly, trying to see where my bike is, seeing if it's on the side of the house, seeing if it's in the backyard, and I don't see it anywhere on the outside of the house, right? So then I walk up to the back door, the back garage door, and I peek through the window, and I can see in the garage my bike, sitting there in all of its glory, waiting to be taken back by its rightful owner. And I go to open his back garage door, and of course, it's fucking locked. And I was like, damn it. Now, I'm 16 years old, I'm angry, I'm fucking pissed, and I'm not thinking straight. So I pick up a rock, right? And I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to break this window on this door and just unlock the door from the inside. And my brother sees me picking up this rock, right? He's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, dude? I was like, I'm going to break the window and just go grab it quick and get out of here. He's like, are you stupid? The whole point of this is to not get caught. We're not doing that. Like, there's cars out front, bro. Like, people are probably in that house. If you break that window, they're going to come looking for you, and who knows what they'll do to you if they see you in the garage. I'm like, okay, you have a better idea? He's like, yeah, I do. Follow me. So he takes me around the side of the garage, right? And there's a window. And it's a pretty high up window, right? Like, I couldn't reach it. My brother couldn't reach it. Like, you would definitely need a ladder to reach this window, right? So I look at my brother, and me being the smart ass that I am, I was like, dude, great job. A window that we can't reach. He's like, hey, dumbass, I'm going to lift you up, and you're going to fucking reach it and see if it's unlocked, idiot. I was like, oh, okay. So he gets down, I step on his hands, he lifts me up to the window, I check if it's unlocked, and guess what? This shit was unlocked. So yeah, I popped the window open, and I looked down at my brother, and I was like, yo, I'm in. He's like, okay, so what you want to do, man, is you want to hang and drop. Hang and drop down so you don't make much noise, and you get in there quietly. Once you're in, get your bike and walk it out the back garage door, the one that we were just trying to unlock. Unlock it, walk it out of there, do it quietly, and you should be fine. Whatever you do, do not open the main garage door. You know, the one that goes up to let in cars. Don't open that. It's too loud. It'll just ruin everything. I'm like, okay. He's like, all right, good luck. Now, let me say, we were whispering this whole time. I was not talking as loud as I was in this story or as loud as he was in this story. He was being very quiet. We were being dead silent because we knew one loud word and they could come out of the house and, you know, try and fight us or worse. So I open the window. I do what my brother said. I hang down and I drop. And luckily, the garage was very clean, so I didn't knock anything down on the way down. And there wasn't anything on the floor for me to hit, so I was very quiet. And I grab my bike. I walk it up to the back door. I slowly unlock the door. It clicks. I open it real quietly. It's a super creaky, annoying door, but I get it open, and I start walking the bike out. And I get the bike out. I quietly close the door. And after that, me and my brother, as fast as we can, run around the side of the house, across the street to my brother's car, and we load the bike into his car, and we both jump in the car. My brother turns the car on, and we start pulling out and leaving. And I explode with just pure adrenaline and like, holy shit, did that just happen? And we start pulling out of this parking lot and leaving, and all of a sudden, out the front door, I see Zach walking out of his house, grabbing his bike to go somewhere. And I point him out. I'm like, yo, that's the kid that stole my bike. And my brother goes, oh shit, really? I was like, yeah, man, that's him. And my brother's like, okay, cool, let's have some fun. So my brother immediately does a U-turn so that we're pulling up behind Zach, right? And he rolls all the windows down, and he slams on his horn, and I hang out the window, and I just throw my finger up, my middle finger, right in Zach's fucking face. And Zach looked at me with just a face of many things, like confusion, like scared, also just like, what the fuck are you doing here? And I sat back down, and me and my brother drove off. And yeah, I went back down to my house, me and my brother did, got my bike unloaded, put it in the garage, and it was like nothing ever happened. And guess what? Later that night, I get a message from Zach on Facebook. He unblocked me. And he goes, this isn't over. That's what he said. He said, this isn't over. To which I replied and said, go fuck yourself. Real politely. Now, unfortunately, this wasn't the end of Zach's bullshit. A couple of weeks later, he did try something. But that's for another story. Maybe I'll tell that tomorrow. Let me know if you guys want that. But yeah, guys, overall, I think it was a pretty good ending. I got my bike back. He didn't sell it to somebody. I got it back just in time. But moral of this story is, do not go breaking into people's homes or sneaking into someone's garage or whatever it may be to get your stuff back if someone steals it. Just call the cops or call your parents and have them handle it, because like what I did could have gotten me so fucking hurt, it's not even funny. But in the end, I was good, everyone was okay, and I got my bike back. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this story time, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace. I just went and moved to LA.